Dolph Lundgren rose to worldwide fame as Ivan Drago in Rocky IV, the cold, unstoppable force who dominated every frame. But behind that legendary image were 5 faces who angered him so deeply that he vowed never to stand beside them on screen again. Now at 68, Lundgren finally revealed that these people weren't just co-stars. They were once friends, allies, even rivals who suddenly showed their true colors. They challenged him to fights at Cannes, cut him out of final edits, mocked him in public, and pushed every boundary imaginable. And when you learn who they are, you'll be shocked at how massive their Hollywood reputations still are. The biggest name on the list? Jean-Claude Van Damme, the most famous enemy Dolph ever made. Their rivalry, which became legendary long before either admitted it, started on Universal Soldier in 1992. Producers thought pairing the Belgian star with the Swedish powerhouse would be gold, but the crew quickly realized they were managing 2 volatile egos. Dolph arrived like a disciplined soldier, prepared and focused. Van Damme acted like he owned the set, changing scenes, demanding retakes to show off, and insisting lighting be adjusted for his heroic look. One crew member later said it felt like watching 2 lions sizing each other up. Tension exploded at Cannes when Van Damme publicly challenged Dolph to step outside and finish it. Fans thought it was staged. It wasn't. Dolph later admitted, "If I'd said yes, it wouldn't have ended well for anybody." Even on The Expendables 2, the animosity lingered. They shot scenes together but never spoke off camera. When asked in 2018 if he'd work with Van Damme again, Dolph said simply, "Why? What's left to prove?" Their feud never healed, because neither man ever backed down. Now, on to Steven Seagal, the on-set ego clash Dolph walked away from before it even began. If you thought the first feud was wild, the next name on Dolph's blacklist is the one fans joke about, Steven Seagal. But Dolph wasn't laughing. After their very first meeting, he walked out thinking, "I can't believe this guy is real." It happened during a private meeting for a potential action film. Everyone expected a simple table read, until Seagal showed up wearing sunglasses, trailed by a bodyguard, and opened with, "You should know, I'm the top fighter here." That was his hello. Dolph wasn't offended, just stunned. Then Seagal added, "I don't take hits on camera, ever." And from there, things only got worse. Seagal pushed to rewrite the script so his character never lost, never bled, never even struggled. One producer whispered, "He wants to be bulletproof." Stunt performers later warned Dolph that Seagal liked to demonstrate moves by actually hurting people. One even arrived with a swollen wrist and said Seagal told him, "It builds character." Dolph never forgot any of it. Years later, he summed up the situation perfectly. "Discipline impresses me. Pretending doesn't." From that point on, he refused to work on any project involving Seagal. Studios tried pairing them multiple times. Dolph shut every door. This feud ended before it ever really began. Now for Mickey Rourke, the co-star whose single comment turned respect into hostility. During a table read, he looked at Dolph and said, "You're the muscle, I'm the mind." That one line cracked their relationship. The feud didn't erupt all at once. It grew through a string of difficult moments on an early 2000s action shoot in Eastern Europe. Mickey kept arriving with pages of handwritten monologues, long speeches about trauma and religion that weren't in the script, leaving the cast frozen and scenes impossible to play. Dolph's scenes became unpredictable because Mickey changed the tone every take. One night, they were supposed to film a tense standoff at 10 p.m. Mickey showed up at 1:47 a.m., cigarette in mouth, saying he needed to walk the city to get into character. Dolph had been standing there in full costume for hours. That was the night he told the first AD, "If he leaves again, shoot without him." But the worst moment came a week later. During blocking, Mickey shoved the script supervisor and yelled, "Don't tell me how to feel a scene." Then he looked at Dolph and smirked. Some guys act from instinct, others just flex. It wasn't teasing, it was humiliation. And when filming wrapped, Mickey skipped the promo tour and never apologized. Dolph didn't say he hated him, only, "We won't share a set again." Now on to Tom Berenger, the actor whose betrayal was colder than any insult. Tom Berenger is the 4th man on Dolph Lundgren's blacklist, and this wasn't about egos or shouting. Berenger tried to erase Dolph from his own film. Their clash began in 2002 on a war movie in Slovakia. Berenger arrived acting like the film revolved around him, bringing rewritten pages that expanded his monologues while cutting Dolph's lines. The director tried to stay neutral, but the crew saw what was happening. One night at an abandoned steel factory, a confrontation scene went off script. Berenger refused to shoot unless he could deliver a nearly 2-minute self-written speech, destroying the scene's tension. Dolph stepped in and told the director, "He's hijacking the film." Berenger just walked back to his trailer. It got worse in post-production. Berenger requested cuts to Dolph's medium shots and reaction close-ups, while inserting more of himself, turning the movie into a solo showcase. That crossed a line Dolph wouldn't tolerate. He finished his work, walked out, and told his agent, "If Berenger signs a project, I'm not interested." He has never broken that rule. Finally, we come to Brian Thompson, the quiet rival whose resentment simmered for decades. This one didn't start with a fight. It began with small, sharp comments that piled up until they became impossible to ignore. Their tension goes back to Rocky IV. While Dolph was adjusting to overnight fame as Drago, Thompson was telling casting circles he had also been considered for the role and would have brought more depth to it. Dolph brushed it off at first, but Thompson didn't let up. Whenever they crossed paths at events, Thompson slipped in little jabs. At one industry mixer, after a discussion about iconic villains, he said loudly, "Some roles are written flat. The actor can only do so much." Everyone understood who he was talking about. And while petty, it was the kind of petty that sticks. Things escalated during a table read for an early 90s action film. Thompson challenged every line that made his character appear weaker next to Dolph's. During rehearsal, after interrupting Dolph twice, he smirked and said, "Let's not make this look like a weightlifting contest." That comment hit harder than any punch. The final straw came at a Las Vegas fan expo in the 2010s. During a Q&A, Thompson mocked Drago's iconic "I must break you" line, telling the crowd, "I'd have delivered it with actual feeling." The audience erupted in laughter. Dolph heard about it within minutes. He skipped his scheduled panel and went straight to private signings, something he had never done before. From that point on, he didn't confront Thompson. He simply erased him. The feud never made headlines, but it's the one Dolph carries the most quietly and the most permanently. So, out of these 5 names, which one shocked you the most? And do you think Dolph was right to cut them off? Let me know in the comments. For more untold Hollywood drama and behind-the-scenes rivalries, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because there's a lot more coming.